Nostalgia is extremely popular these days, and finding lots of commercial success through media like Mad Men, Stranger Things, and the It and Ghostbuster remix, to name a few. In a climate where nostalgia is successful, I thought it was interesting that one of two rules Jonah Hill had while filming mid-90s was no nostalgia porn. Watching the film, I felt this precedent remained true, largely probably owing to the fact that I'm born too late. Yet reading reviews, there was not a single word I came across more. So how did mid-90s, a film whose title is meant to be a misdirect, achieve such a nostalgic feeling for so many without any direct aspirations to do so? From the opening scene, it is clear that Hill and his team had an obsessive attention to the visual detail. Not only are all of the CDs you just saw period correct, but they are also true to what a teenager's music taste would be at that time. Hill himself even said that if he were to mess up one little thing, then the entire movie would just be trash. Wardrobe and location were also prioritized. Clothing and sneakers worn needed to be perfect, but so did the skate spots and companies. The West LA Courthouse is featured alongside brands like Drawers and Chocolate. Hill wanted skateboarding to be respected and presented from a place of reverence. The 90s are a legitimate time period with its own distinct look and feel, and everything had to be accurate. From stoplights to parking meters, even just the trash on the street was correct.
But the 90s is a legit period piece. Like, remember how crazy I was about literally the trash?
Like trash bags.
I was obsessed with trash. I was obsessed with like, Doritos bags look mad different.
Creating a set that the viewer could identify as the 90s though was not enough. Hill had his firstborn shot on 16mm film in a 4:3 ratio, replicating the same specifications that movies were shot in at this time. Now, a spectator feels as though they are watching a film both made and shot in the 90s. According to Dr. Hyman Jr., a psychology professor at Western Washington University, just a small sight can trigger nostalgia, so combinations of visual cues like these should be more than enough. A huge part of Jonah Hill's upbringing, and now his writing, is music. A fanatic of the golden era of hip-hop, he was determined to do it justice, having seen it disrespected previously on the silver screen. Despite having a solid original score from Reznor and Ross, it is the hand-selected soundtrack by Hill that seemingly displaces viewers from their seats to their own past. A 1999 study by Shulkind, Hennis, and Rubin details the abilities that songs can have to elicit people's memories. The music heard in the film is what Hill personally worshipped in his youth. These artists' songs formed him as a person, and it was important to him for it to have this emotional context displayed.
And hip-hop music, which a big reason why I made the film was to show that like Tribe or Mobb Deep to me was like what the Beatles or the Rolling Stones were to my parents, and not just like some move in a movie by playing a song. That is a music that, I'll speak for myself, just was life-changing and was the music I grew up on. So I wanted to see it shown in a way in a film that just shows like this is what the music of this generation was, and it was the best music of this generation, and that 100 years from now, you know, DJ Premier will be Mozart and Q-Tip will be John Lennon, and that is important to me, you know?
Many of these tracks, while popular at that time, are also special to Hill for more specific reasons. His older brother was a big hip-hop head, influencing much of his taste, but he wasn't the only one. The Latin culture in LA made impressions on him, as it was these friends that introduced him to Morrissey. Where'd You Sleep Last Night by Nirvana was specifically included because it was the first song that Hill learned on guitar. Hill was insistent that any experiences he faced in his youth be the guiding truths for his picture, even saying himself that this film is about being honest and truthful. Hill grew up skateboarding, and it was through this community that he formed lots of connections. Unlike today though, Hill did not have access to cell phones or social media like Facebook and Instagram to help build relationships. To help his young actors feel in touch with the time, Hill took away their cell phones on set. Thus, any breaks in shooting allowed for more human conversation, which helped increase chemistry amongst the cast and build understanding of the time period. It is connections like these between people, which is what Hill says the film is ultimately about.
After he passed away, fuck shit came to my house and dragged me out to go skate with him. Felt good to have somebody there. So let's go.
Despite making friends through skating, Hill found that everybody shits on skateboarders, at least at that time. His black and Hispanic friends were not only shunned from society, but also their own communities. Black people don't skate. This inspired parts of this scene with Gerard Carmichael.
Hey, no, come here.
Shame to you, rent-a-cop.
Fuck you, nigga. I make more than all you.
Nigga. And fuck you.
What the fuck you doing skating with these white boys? Niggas don't skate. Your surf's up, motherfucker. That's who you think you are?
Being treated as members of the fringe, skateboarders sought and earned acceptance from one another. They not only treat other skaters with dignity, but also marginalized populations. This mutual respect Hill observed growing up comes to life through one of his favorite parts of the film, the boy's conversation with a homeless individual, played by Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
How you doing? What's good in your life?
I'm here, shit. I'm trying to get up off the streets, man. Before the streets get me. But see, I look like this, so...
Ain't nobody wanna fuck with you.
Yeah, you feel me? My friends or whatever, they kind of just...
Ain't no judging over here.
Oh, okay.
The script does not shy away from misogyny, homophobia, and offensive diction. This inflammatory language was not meant to be appreciative, but rather done intentionally by Hill to showcase the way young people spoke during the period.
Scott Rudin, my producer, you know, he is a gay man, and he was like, I wrote a scene where they were kind of like, where people were saying the F word, and they're kind of like, one kid goes like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be saying this. And he wrote back to me. He wrote back to me, would you guys have this conversation in 1995? And I was like, hell no. And he's like, then you're lying. You know, he's like, tell the truth and let people see how gross it is. That's you know? Real. And I believe that. Like, I think holding up a mirror is way more powerful than changing history.
Right.
While definitely unacceptable today, I'm confident many viewers can not only relate to hearing such vocabulary, but also speaking much of it themselves. Not only was the impact of these words not realized, many terms were considered funny or cool. The coolest behavior though at the time was not to try. According to Hill, the corniest thing you could do was to care. This concept is epitomized through the character Fuckshit, who is constantly partying and goofing around. He does not put effort really into anything despite coming from arguably the best socioeconomic background. According to medical doctor Heidi Moed's Brain and Nostalgia article in Neurology Times, listening to conversations or witnessing behaviors similar to those experienced in the past can conjure feelings of nostalgia. Seeing and hearing the boys' interactions with one another and those outside their troop could easily bring back memories to those watching. Be it the film's set, score, or script, if you experience the 90s, there appears to be a multitude of stimuli in Jonah Hill's directorial debut that could leave you with feelings of nostalgia.
Oh no, you're like, I gotta finish and this is horrible.
If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I think that mid-90s has a lot more going on than just nostalgia. I think it has a lot you can relate to, whether that be dysfunctionality between siblings, or searching for friends and acceptance, even just having a passion for your own craft like the skaters do for skateboarding. I think a really cool quote that Hill said about this film is that it's kind of the opposite of what a typical skateboarding movie is, where you have a ton of cool skate clips and then some B-roll mixed amongst that. Here you have just a few skating clips amongst this like larger story going on, which is kind of like all the B-roll. But if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it and you should check it out. See ya. Hill took away their cell phones on set.